Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to apologize that I've been gone for a week. I ended up hurting myself lifting, which means I found out the limit of my deadlift with improper form, so got that squared away. Also was dealing with a bit of a family emergency, but hopefully we're good now. Hopefully I can get back to recording regularly. And I know people don't really care. It's not like I have a whole lot of viewers on this channel, but the ones who do watch, I'm sorry. And I'm going to keep pretending like I'm a big YouTuber because, fake it till you make it. But that being put aside, today's video is by Everett Anderson. It is called Fact Checking is Not a Thing, in all caps. He really wants us to know that. And you'll see how important it is that we know that it's not a thing. I did not edit this. This was not me doing some magic on his video and making him look kind of cringy and repetitive. But you'll see. You'll see. Let's just get into it. You'll see. Do like the music though. Also the wild hair he's got going. Let's try it down a little bit.
The problem with fact checking.
Okay, first of all, what is this? What is this angle? Why are we looking up at you? It's kind of aggressive and intimidating.
Is as follows. It's not a thing. Where was it 10 years ago?
I mean, people have been checking facts for a while now. What do you mean, where was it 10? Did people not using the term regularly, or?
15 years ago, 20 years ago, who were the fact checkers? Fact checking is showed up in the last sort of, I believe, couple of years.
I mean, I will say it has been kind of overused on pretty much every social media site. There's always a fact check on pretty much everybody's post. I'm not going to get political about this. I don't care. I'm not saying it's wrong to put fact checks on posts. I'm not a big fan of Twitter doing their whole, like, we're going to hire the people to fact check stuff. It seems kind of weird. But they're a private platform, so do what you want.
And it's like a propaganda buzzword, which roughly translates as, has this been approved by government-approved authorities?
Well, not necessarily government approved, but scientifically usually.
And when you're trying to seek the truth of this world, you don't necessarily want to always have to run it by, oh, has this been approved by the rulers of the world?
We can see right up your nose, man. Find a different shelf or something to put us on.
That's not necessarily the fastest way to, or the most efficient way, or any way to ascertain actual truth. That's a way to, stay on script.
Well, I think it's more that the concept is it's really hard to do a lot of the tests and whatnot that have been done over the years by yourself. I mean, it's taken generations of different scientists to give us the fountain of knowledge that we have right now. And I mean, further down the road, there's going to be a lot more things that we couldn't have planned for and couldn't have known in advance. But you can't just say, well, I'm going to do all of that myself, because it would take more than a lifetime.
And not rock the boat. And not find the truth.
Okay, I never understood that whole concept of they're hiding the truth from us. Why? Who does that help? What advantages does it have?
Fact checking. It's not a thing.
You don't know.
And now we're in his bedroom. Okay, so this is just the angle he likes to do.
The sun is 93 million miles away.
I mean, we can know that the sun is 93 million miles away based on parallax measurements.
I don't care what you say. You don't know that. No one does.
Do you propose that we just lay a bunch of rulers end to end, or get a 93 million mile long measuring tape and fire it at the sun and see what happens?
We've been told it. Goodness knows how they're supposed to have even claimed to have measured it.
So that right there, that's the Dunning-Kruger effect. He doesn't know how it could have been measured, so it couldn't have been measured. He doesn't understand the concept of parallax measurements and using different points of the Earth, knowing the circumference of Earth, and then going based on the angle of observation.
Fact checking. It's not a thing.
That's number 2. Second time we saw that.
The dome, right? And it's been throughout human history. The majority of humanity have believed in a flat plane.
Okay, so you're basically saying that because the majority of humanity believed it for a good chunk of our time as humans, that we should continue to believe it and it's factual. I mean, there are tribes that used to sacrifice virgins to their deities. There are people who used to think that if they didn't do the right things for the gods, they wouldn't have the crop yields that they wanted. There were people who believed that the only way to get rid of AIDS is to have sex with virgins. Like, let's not base our knowledge on things that people have done or known for a long time. That just kind of seems ridiculous.
Opposed to a globular planet. Yes, round and flat like a pizza, with a dome enclosing it.
See, but he doesn't give it any evidence. He just says, this is the fact. Well, can you tell me why you know that? Or how you know that? Or are you just going to say that's the fact because now you don't want us to fact check you?
The dome is responsible for the closed atmosphere. That's been the theory for the vast majority of human history.
Theory. They always get hung up about gravity being a theory, and yet they use the word, well, it's been theory for the majority of human history. Okay.
Until around the late 1800s, early 1900s, and then obviously mid 1900s with the formation of NASA and CIA, etc.
Fact checking. It's not a thing.
That's number 3.
The idea of looking at the sky, the heavens, the firmament, and observing the objects in the firmament and what shape they are, and saying, well, they're that shape, therefore what I'm stood on must be that shape.
I mean, it makes logical sense. You can infer based on everything else in your observable world. Like, you really think we're on something? I mean, a lot of people do believe we're on something special. And as far as we can tell in our solar system, what we are on is special in the sense that it could and did house and create life. So by that sense, yes, we are on a special planet. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the laws of physics wouldn't apply to it as we know them to apply to the rest of the planets and sun in our solar system.
It's honestly a relatively new idea.
So are cell phones.
The solar system. The system that lures your soul.
It's not lure, like a fishing lure, or soul as in the intangible thing that people believe we have and goes somewhere else when you die. It's soul, SOLAR, solar, meaning sun.
Solar system, the sun worship system, essentially.
It's not worship. I never understood this. The whole idea. Well, you worship the sun because you think we go around it. And it's like, okay, well, what if that's the fact? What if we do, in fact, go around it? And that's just how things are and how we observe them. And that doesn't necessarily mean we worship the sun. We're not sun worshippers. Also, number 4.
Fact checking. It's not a thing.
Look, there's either a firmament or NASA and SpaceX and all the rest of them are telling the truth.
Fact.
Okay. NASA, SpaceX, all the rest of them. SpaceX gets money by sending people, or not people yet, but by sending satellites into space. If they lied about that and didn't deliver a product, they wouldn't be making money. So what's the incentive for them to lie and just go along with NASA? Because they don't get private industry money. They're a private industry. They don't get public sector money. They get money from investors and people who want their services, like putting satellites into space. They don't get it from taxpayers. So where's the incentive to make money? So why would they need to lie?
Checking. It's not a thing.
I lost count. Was that 5 or 6?
It's an enclosed system with a vast dome over it.
Fact checking.
7?
It's not a thing.
Let's go with that.
And since the deal has been sewn up that no, it's definitely a globe, kind of 1800s, 1900s. Although they claim it's much further back with Eratosthenes and the sticks in the ground and what have you, but that's been debunked.
By whom? Point me to how that's been debunked, because from what I remember, Eratosthenes got it really close. And that was one of the things that I learned recently is a lot of the merchants of that time period would actually count their steps as they traveled from city to city. And they were using that to essentially plot out maps and whatnot and distances. And they were like 95% accurate.
Quite easily, really. If you have sticks in the ground and you shine a light above them and you move the light, then the shadows are going to bend regardless of whether they're on a flat surface or on a ball.
Fact.
But it's how they bend. It's how they bend in relation to each other. If you have it on a flat surface and a light shifts one way or another, it's really hard to do without a diagram or something. But he's wrong. Let's put it that way.
Checking. It's not a thing.
Is that 8?
I don't know, man. Something's
gonna stop
happening. I've
counting.
been reading it a lot, reading the Bible. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks for years now, 2 or 3 years, but increasingly so. And that coincided with the flat Earth thing.
Okay, but Bibles and audiobooks. You don't really tell us what audiobooks you've been listening to, so whatever. Let's just say every audiobook you've ever listened to was closer to factually accurate than the Bible. The Bible still has wild inconsistencies. Everything that it tried to prophesize was not true. The concept of the dream that the king had, where it was the statue made out of different metals, none of that made any sense when you brought it forward to today. And that was supposed to be a prophecy that was 100% accurate. There's no evidence of a global flood. There is evidence of small localized flooding. There's no evidence that Jesus of Nazareth was actually a real person. There is some evidence to prove that maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. That's not really too much of it. But the concept of talking snakes, that's a hard sell for me. That's a really hard sell. And the idea that a geriatric man could build a giant boat by himself that would fit 2 of every animal miraculously. They didn't eat each other. They also stored enough food for 30 days and 30 nights and then an extra year floating or something along those lines. How the olive branch managed to live even though it was completely submerged. See, there's a lot of inconsistencies in the Bible. And as someone who went to church for the first 18 years of my life, because my mom forced me, thank you, Mom, I turned away fairly early because of these inconsistencies and because things didn't just make sense. So by using the Bible as evidence of some kind of factual authority, you're undercutting your own position as to why the flat earth would be true.
Fireworks have gone off in my head. It's blown my head off.
Fact checking. It's not a thing.
What's the deal with
So many times he did that.
the firmament? Why would they lie about it?
Correct. Why would they lie?
Why would NASA tell such a simple lie for the purposes of taking in government grants of over $60 million a day? Why would they do that? Who needs $60 million a day? I don't know.
Okay, see, that's an argument that I'd be willing to look into, because it does make sense that you would perpetuate a lie. If that's how you manage to get these grants, you would have to continue lying to get public money from taxpayers. But SpaceX doesn't have to do that. SpaceX gets money from private companies, private industry. Lying to them to get taxpayer money doesn't really make sense. They would need to lie to their customers, but if their customer's satellite isn't operating the way it's supposed to, and it's just giving data from the ocean floor or whatever, they would know. See where I'm going with that?
SpaceX, space, with an X, space. Or space sex. If you say it like that, it sounds like space sex. You know, it's all...
Yeah, because Elon Musk is like a child with a bunch of money. He's a brilliant man, but he has the humor of a child. He wanted what did he do? He dropped the price of the Tesla Model S down to $69,420 for the laugh of it. He pushes, the whole GameStop squeeze thing going on right now. He did that for the lulz. He look at his cars. He's got the Model S, the Model 3, and the Model X. Literally spells out sex. Like, Elon Musk is a meme lord, plain and simple. So it's possible that he thought space sex, that's gonna be really funny.
all fantasy. It's all bullshit.
Fact checking.
Oh my gosh.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
That wasn't me. That I didn't even know he did that at the end. Well, there you go, guys. Apparently, fact checking is not a thing because this guy says so. I really don't know where to go with that. There's no substance to any of it. It's just ramblings, and I want more substance, but unfortunately, it seems like a lot of the substantive arguments are on these really long, like 3-hour videos that I'm just not going to subject you guys to. Because if I'm sitting there commenting on a 3-hour video, it's going to be 6 hours long, and that's not fair to any of you. Anyway, I hope you liked it. I'm glad to be back. Sorry that I was gone for so long. You guys don't care. You know the deal. Like, share, subscribe if you want. If you don't, that's cool too. Hoping to see you next time, and have a great night. Bye.